The four loves. Storge, the empathy bond. Storge is likened someone through the fondness of familiarity, family members or people who relate in familiar ways that have otherwise found themselves bonded by chance. An example is the natural love and affection of a parent for their child. It is described as the most natural, emotive, and widely diffused of loves. It is natural in that it's present without coercion, emotive because it is the result of fondness due to familiarity, and most widely diffused because it pays the least attention to those characteristics deemed valuable or worthy of love, and as a result is able to transcend most discriminating factors. Lewis describes it as a dependency based love which risks extinction if the needs cease to be met. Affection for Lewis included both need love and gift love. He considered it responsible for 9/10 of all solid and lasting human happiness. However, affection's strength is also what makes it vulnerable. Affection has the appearance of being built in or ready made, says Lewis, and as a result, people come to expect it irrespective of their behavior and its natural consequences. Both in its need and its gift form, affection then is liable to go bad and be corrupted by such forces as jealousy, appurtenance, and smothering. Philia, a friend bond, is love between friends as close as siblings in strength and endurance. The friendship is the strong bond existing between people who share common values, interests, or activities. Lewis immediately differentiates friendship love from other loves. He describes friendship as the least biological, organic, instinctive, gregarious, and necessary, the least natural of loves. Our species does not need friendship in order to reproduce, but the classical and medieval words, it is a higher level of love because it's freely chosen. Lewis explains that true friendship, like the friendship between David and Jonathan in the Bible, are almost a lost art. He expresses a strong distaste for the way modern society ignores friendship. He notes that he cannot remember any poem that celebrates true friendship like that between David and Jonathan, Orestes and Pharaldes, Roland and Ovilo, and Amis and Amiros. Lewis goes on to say, to the ancients, friendship seems the happiest, the most fully human of all loves, the crown of life and the school of virtue. The modern world, in comparison, ignores it. Growing out of companionship, friendship for Lewis was a deeply appreciated love, to one which he felt few people in modern society could value at its worth because so few actually experience true friendship. Nevertheless, Lewis was not blind to what he considered the dangers of friendship, such as its potential for clinginess, anti-authoritarianism, and pride. Anti-authoritarianism and pride. Eros, a romantic love. Eros. For Lewis was love in the sense of being in love, of loving someone, as opposed to raw sexual, what he called Venus. Their illustration, Lewis used what distinguishes between wanting a woman and wanting one particular woman, something that matched his classical view of man as a rational animal, a composite, both a reasonable angel and instinctively alley cat. Eros turns the need and pleasure of Venus into the most appreciative of all pleasures, but nevertheless, Lewis warned against the modern tendency for Eros to become a god to people who fully submit themselves to it, a justification for selfishness, even a Phallic religion. After exploring sexual activity and its spiritual significance in both a pagan and Christian sense, he notes how Eros, or being in love, in itself an indifferent neutral force, of how Eros in all his splendour may urge to evil as well as good. While accepting that Eros can be an extremely profound experience, he does not overlook the dark way in which it could lead even to the point of suicide pacts and murder, as well as the furious refuses to part. Meticulously chain together two mutual tormentors, each raw over with the poison of hate in love. Apathy, unconditional God love. Charity is the love that exists regardless of changing circumstances. Lewis recognized this selfless love as the greatest of the four loves, and it sees it as specifically Christian virtue to achieve. The chapter on the subject focuses on the need to subordinate the other three natural loves, as Lewis puts it. The natural loves are not self-sufficient to the love of God, who is full of charitable love, to prevent what he termed their dynamic self-aggrandizement.